And it looks like Xel'Naga Caverns is going to be the second map for this, so seems. And then the third map after that, if need be, will go on to Crevasse.
I'm surprised that that's the first time this tournament that we have ended up doing Xel'Naga Caverns, as again, that is like the most popular map in any tournament. I actually think at last Dreamhack, every single Best of X had Xel'Naga Caverns in it, because almost every single person would lose and be like, oh yeah, Xel'Naga, that's my best map. So I ended up seeing a lot of crazy games on there, and considering these players are mass laddering players who've had a ridiculous amount of experience on this map, I'm personally very excited to see what will be their strategy on this map, because everyone's familiar with it, not just them, but all the observers, everyone here. You guys play games on Xel'Naga Caverns? Well, that's not quite the enthusiasm.
It's like 50% of the crowd downvotes that map.
Yeah, they're like, no, I play Delta Quadrant and just 7 pool. So it looks like we are going to be ready to go into the game. It's going to be EmpireKas against MYM Sase. For any of you just tuning in, Sase is up 1-0 against EmpireKas. Both of them, standing-wise, are 1-0 in their groups. So very, very excited to see things coming up right away.
To kind of emphasize the point, how you said that these guys play so much ladder, and they've obviously played so much Xel'Naga Caverns, compared to Crossfire, depending on how much they train. That cover favored Sase a little bit more, because Kas doesn't really need to practice that match as much, because Sase is going to Korea, so he needs to play that map as it's more frequently used in the GSL.
Definitely.
But this map, Xel'Naga Caverns, they've played so many games here for sure. We're going to see a very crisp, precise play, definitely by both players.
So it looks like the game has now started. So in the bottom left, give a cheer if you would like the winner to be EmpireKas. He is currently down 0-1. Needs to win 2 games in a row, but we have seen that he is an endurance machine.
And if you like the kind of unknown to the StarCraft 2 tournament scene, MYM Sase, to close this up, please make some noise for him.
You have MYM Sase now throwing down that ever so important pylon. Always a great play to do in virtually any matchup. In the bottom left corner, we have EmpireKas. Interestingly, not going to be going for any wall-off with depots. You know, wall-offs had a brief period where they were pretty much not done at all. But now players are slowly starting to pretty much do it in every matchup, whether it be not with the first supply depot, but with the next couple, or even the bunker barracks wall-off that blocks Hellions. But I still think that EmpireKas would benefit from doing a more Marine Marauder-focused style on this map, just due to all the great movement paths.
Most definitely. And actually, looking at results previously, the last time these two met was in the SK Champions Trophy not so long ago. And surprisingly, Kas took it down 3-0.
Wow.
And tables have turned now as Sase is in the upper hand of this. And that's really showing the progression rate of Sase to go from 3-0 to taking quite a comfortable game off Kas. And definitely excited to see how this one goes through. And the probe does enter the base, sees this. Do we have any gas? No, we do not have any gas yet. So it looks like we are going to be having some gasless expand. I don't think Kas will really kind of rely on doing any 3 extra barracks once this probe has been sent out. I think he's going to rely on his strengths, his macro. As you play so much, you have to have key mechanics over and over. As that's probably his tech path, well, not really tech path, but choice throughout this. And in the same time, we do have the 7X core, and well, the pretty much timing of that's pretty standard so far for Sase.
You know, Paul, I want to bring up what you just said about the, oh gosh, what is this, StarCraft 1? Sase now throwing down yet another add-on. Yeah, with your no gas at all, I'm going to prevent you from getting gas later and then building a tech lab. What's interesting is that this scout pylon, oh my god, it's not vision range.
It will
when it finishes, it will almost certainly be, oh, there's a command center there. So Sase doing some very interesting offensive pylon play. But you know, Paul, I want to come back to the fact that you said that Sase was 0-3 by EmpireKas. You know, honestly, I can speak from experience. If there's someone that you always beat, if you end up losing a match to them in a tournament situation, it is very jarring. You think to yourself, but I'm supposed to beat this player. And you can oftentimes have a very steep, sharp momentum swing in the opposite direction where you can end up choking hard. Again, EmpireKas is one of those players who's just so ridiculously stable. I would anticipate him absolutely not doing that, but still, it's very psychologically jarring to lose games to someone you always beat.
And even just small things like this pylon placement, Kas knowing that Sase knows he's gone for this fast expand, just simple small stuff like that is gonna daunt and continue with that pressure you talked about. As you know, with this build, what you really want to do and the precise opportunity you want is to be like, all right, you don't know if I've fast expanded or if I've added on these barracks, but simple pylon placement sees that precisely, and pylon being put down here by Sase, that's kind of interesting. I suppose you can use that to scout the exact timing of when that expansion goes down, but that's interesting to see how that will develop throughout the game.
I mean, this is a very new school approach to this matchup by Sase. I mean, constantly building pylons in the main. I mean, in control was considered unorthodox for always going for a gas steal every game and getting similar bits of information, but a pylon is basically like a build anywhere refinery. He can scout exactly where he needs to and continue to try to aggressively poke up with that probe. And wow, Sase moving out with one sentry and a probe.
That's interesting. I mean, he's going to be able to create a lot of pressure here, keep force fields on the ramp. If Kas does decide to try to move down, slow that expansion down while he does get his own up, as you can see. And does reinforce with another sentry down here. So he's basically, I remember this style, I actually played against Nazgul a long, long time ago. I don't know if you remember that in the beta days, where he literally used to force field you inside your base until you got the medivacs out, which a very frustrating style to play against. And it looks like Sase is going to be using this against Kas and is going to really slow down Kas's economy. And he might actually have to wait all the time until siege mode is done before he can go and expand. And look at that! Kas reacts with a third command center so fast.
Well, if you're going to keep me in my base, fine. I'm going to make only heals. So there he is. He's continuing to mass up this nice little sentry stalker force. Now chrono boosting out an observer. Very, very important to do that, because even though you might have your contain up, you are still vulnerable to a slightly delayed series of drops. But I think this is a brilliant touch by EmpireKas. Getting the very fast siege mode with siege tanks. This is not only unusual, but also a perfect response to all the various ways that gateway units can put pressure on early. And looks like he's moving up the ramp, and the missed siege, it gets one shot off and will be taken down. That was a very cleanly favorable exchange for Sase.
Yeah, exactly, especially with this economic advantage he's gained now. That is excellent. Look at the unit tab, 41 probes versus 32. Yes, he does have this third command center coming up, which will help out a bunch, but he really does need to go ahead and mine from a second base. Observer comes in and sees this third command center being built, and also sees the starport building a medivac also. So far, Sase is such a please to watch.
I mean, looks like there's that third orbital command coming up. Now, this pretty much is going to be committed to muling only. You cannot take thirds that fast against a Protoss when you're going for a tank-oriented play. So this does mean that EmpireKas is going to be committed to the two-base for a while, but looks like it's going to be a relatively difficult two-base attempt. But wow, Sase once again getting a free tank. Look at this great positioning. Oh no, locking the units up on the high ground.
Sase. This is awesome to watch. I mean, look at the food count already. We're at 9 minutes 30 and 76 to 55. 50 probes versus 36 SCVs. Just a slight containment while in the background adding on a third base.
Man, and look at, getting the medevac. Sase's crazy.
This is insane, and this is terrific to watch. I'm more excited to watch Sase progress through this tournament now after watching these games. He's actually tearing apart Kas so easily here, preventing this expansion going up while getting a third base, adding on Colossus and Thermal Lance already. And there's no way really that Kas can even think about switching up to get him Reactor Vikings. He just does not have the resources or gas to do so. So the Colossus count is going to be way too high as the mid stages, late stages of the game goes on, and the Viking count is just going to be way too low.
I mean, Sase just doing a complete turnaround on the way you'd think this would open up. Traditionally, you'd think that the siege tanks can easily pick off these sentries from afar and prevent this contain from working that effectively. But Sase pushing around with force fields, picking off tanks one at a time. And now EmpireKas finally managing to advance forward. He does have stim, but this is a superior ground force. And Sase seems to clearly know what he has done all this magic with just these 3 warp gates, a 4th one recently added up. But it looks like EmpireKas finally gonna get his own base up.
Finally. And now Sase has a Colossus to back this up. And if Kas decides to stim into this, he could be in a world of trouble if force fields do go down. But this Colossus now is going to be out of range, a lot of fire, and there go the force fields!
Oh no, it looks like a couple of units get taken down, but not that many. EmpireKas needs to move forward. Oh, he has to cart back home again. Poor EmpireKas, who's just come off an amazing series against Nama. Now the newcomer Sase showing like a style of Protoss that few have ever seen.
And he's going to go ahead and pick off a couple of tanks here. This could be huge. One tank goes down. Will he be able to get the second one? Indeed, he does. Force fields as well. Oh my god.
I have never seen a Protoss do such incredible feats with force fields early on. There's the second stim. He needs to clean up this Stalker force immediately, and it looks like EmpireKas may barely be able to break through, and he does. But the two Colossus are still on retreat. If he can catch up and deal damage to those, if he can isolate and pick them off, looks like he's trying to do micro. He's low on health, but he gets one, and he pulls back. EmpireKas managing to equalize somewhat, but we have 4 more gateways in production here. We have the +1 attack. We have more Colossi. EmpireKas in a world of trouble.
Yeah, Sase's macro slipped up a little bit here. As you can see, his money's really high getting this third base. These gateways been added on a little bit late as well. But, I mean, he had such control of this game that I don't think it even matters that much. We're looking at now 70 probes versus 36 SCVs. We do have 3 orbital commands, which is helping out a lot here for Kas. But now what? He's got his expansion up, and now even has an observer seeing how many units Kas has. He has hardly anything. Can go ahead and easily take this gold base without any pressure coming from Kas.
And now EmpireKas is doing the only thing that he can. Whenever you are very far behind, generally what you will end up doing is just building a ton of unit producing structures on the bases that you have and going for a huge depth push to hopefully swing a favor in your advantage. But I mean, this is crazy, amazing play by Sase. I mean, we've seen a lot of Zergs been performing well as of late. We've been seeing Terrans like MMA blow us away with aggression, but in Dreamhack thus far, it has been the Protosses who have been impressive. MC and Sase just doing wondrous play with those Protoss pieces.
And look how he's like building pylons across the map, scouting. He's going to see that the gold rocks are starting to go down. He's got another pylon in the bottom right. And what's kind of Kas needs to get into this, well, get back into this game, he's going to have to rely on harassment drops. And we do have 1 medevac coming in with 4 Marauders. Could be able to do a lot of damage here. But at the same time, even more pylons being added on the right-hand side here for Sase. It looks like he'll be gearing up for definitely a +2 timing attack with the Zealot charge upgrade being done to deny this third possible base that Kas will be looking for.
Sase again doing some nice positioning to try to gear up to do some kind of defense. There finally, the Marines and Marauders managed to take out that gold. EmpireKas is going to go for it. But his Viking count is all too low. At this point in the game, we do see that there are 4 Colossi out right now. Oh man, and those speed zealots now making their way forward. Kas needs to stim and kite fast. He has a lot of Marauders though, and a really nice spread. Can he manage to do the needed damage? It looks like the answer is no, he cannot. EmpireKas getting rolled by this gigantic army. MYM Sase is a beast.
This guy, I mean, what a way to come to StarCraft 2, your biggest event so far, and absolutely demolish Kas. Absolutely one-sided game.
The good game.
Wow. That was Gosu.
I would describe that as Gosu times 2, Diapollo.
Times 2? Oh, man, that was insane. I can't believe how well Sase played in both games.
Yeah, you know,
not just that one.
I was speechless after the EmpireKas versus Nama games, but after seeing that, I mean, MYM Sase like made EmpireKas look outclassed. That's like so unusual. Yes, EmpireKas. I just crunched the words together. But I mean, that's something that's remarkable to do when you end up seeing some of these games between players, you know, like Sen, a great Zerg player who you've seen pull amazing wins against the likes of Boxer or Marine King Prime, then play against OGS MC, and MC just crushes him with a push that Sen looked like he would not have ever been able to stop. And then Sase, in that game too, EmpireKas did the theoretic optimal play, getting tanks with siege mode, getting the extra orbital command if he's going to be contained. but could not get that expansion up. Lost 3 or 4 tanks before he actually managed to stabilize. That was just mind-blowing control.
And if you think about Sase's results in this tournament, and Grubby's not a PvP walkover either. That's 2-0 versus Grubby, and then comes up against Kas, and 2-0's Kas. That's insane. And great. I mean, I'm so happy for Sase. We spoke a lot on Skype, and he said he'd been feeling confident, and he works so hard. And I'd literally put him up there with top 3 work ethic within Europe by far. He works so hard, and I'm happy from the results are showing, and definitely excited to see him progress in this tournament.
Yeah, so we will definitely be giving you as many results updates as we can going through this. The next match coming up, though, is going to be Idra versus Grubby, which is definitely going to be a big crowd favorite match. Grubby, one of the most popular pro gamers of all time, not just from his extremely impressive tournament results, but also because he's just an extremely mannered, positive guy, has a lot of fans across the world. Idra, known the exact opposite, having very bad manner, but again, has an enormous fan base because of his undeniable skill.
And that'll be a super interesting game. Idra, says that Protoss easily trashes Zerg, and Zerg is not meant to beat Protoss, so that's going to be an interesting game for sure to see how Idra has, developed his play, how he's progressed from MLG, coming here, and accordingly, if his first game losing 1-2 versus Mers, quite a shaky start, and basically, I don't actually know, I'm sure that he's played a second game by now, Idra. Depending on that result, if he loses versus Grubby, Idra could very well go out in the group stages, which is unheard of. He's never been out in the group stages that early. Yeah,
I mean, Idra is one of those players who, though he might not make it to that final championship round, he's always in the round of 8, in the round of 4. He's one of those final bosses of almost any tournament. You have to overcome Idra if you actually want to get to the end. But Idra, we have seen have a total mental meltdown if he starts off in a bad spot. I personally would give this match an overwhelming favor to Idra.
Yeah, definitely.
But given that early bumpy start, I just don't know. We've seen Grubby do some amazing things, like in the NASL, do an amazing Blinkstalker play against Morrow for a nice, clean game against a large wad of Banelings. Gonna have to find out what will happen then, but still, huge congratulations to MY and Sase for that remarkable PvT style. I'm really excited to cast more of his games as this tournament goes on.
That pickup from Meet Your Makers to get Sase on their team is great. That's going to really boost their overall team roster. And like you said, excited to see how he'll do in this tournament. And not only, you guys have to follow him in the GSL. Upcoming very shortly. He is moving there very soon to go live in the GOM TV house and compete in the GSL. And wishing the best of luck. But for now, we've got the best seats in the houses, as we're going to be able to see how he does in this tournament. But like you said, upcoming next, Idra versus Grubby.
Now, we'll be going to a brief break before we disappear for just 5 short minutes. I want to let you know that we have gotten word that Idra did defeat Nama 2-1. So that means that Idra is starting to make that comeback. I know he has a lot of fans out there today. I know that there are many fans tuned in on the stream who are trying to cheer on Idra, given his recent performance at MLG Columbus. Didn't quite manage to take it all the way to the finals, hoping he can do it today. But Nama now down 0-2 in his group. That means that the previous champion of Dreamhack winner may very well be out of this tournament.
Indeed. I mean, unless he wins his next 3 games and there's somehow a 3- or 2-way tie, Nama not looking so bright.
Either way, we will give you all the updates we can, and after this, we'll be doing Idra versus Grubby. Don't go anywhere. I am Day9.
And I'm Diapollo.
And this is Dreamhack Summer 2011. The action is just heating up in the group stages. Stay tuned for more PvZ action.
The faster, lighter protection. ESET Nod 32 antivirus gives you less lag and more frag for your Windows, Mac or Linux computer.